everyday life. We started daily things. Yesterday was first one, and hopefully we will carry on and nothing will stop us from this thing. So first of all, I would like to thank you everyone who managed and came to London Opera House yesterday and supported the demonstration against Anna Netrebko's performance because she's Putin's ally, and not once or twice, on numerous occasions she was his representative, and she was supporting him and his aggression as well. Such a sad decision from Royal Opera House. I hope they won't carry on, because I know there are planned more performances of Netrebko in London. I hope it was the last one. Anyway, today I would like to discuss with you how the personal tragedy become political PR, or making headlines by political representatives. And also I would like to talk with you about Charlie Kirk and his role in media coverage Ukraine, or igniting the discussions about Ukraine, and my surprise how popular he is with his poor knowledge on the subject. And also how the situations with Russian drones developed in Poland, and what the consequences and what is the discussions and many sort of actions the political Polish leaders the actions Polish political leaders took. Also why Ukraine, who supplies about 40% of the ammunition to the front line, produced ammunition and drones and many electronic warfare systems, still not selling it. And I know there is an interest and personal account, I'll tell about it later. So, and I would like to hear your thoughts, because the subjects are controversial. The subjects I picked today, it's disturbing, and please let me know where you are, what's your thoughts, and let's have this interactive conversation if we can. Obviously I will read your comments, and if you haven't subscribed on my podcast, please do, and your like, your comment, or your share will help to develop and push the channel. That's how the algorithms work. Obviously, well, I just mentioned what I was talking about. Please stay and you will see. So first of all, I would like to talk about Ukrainian refugee in America, Iryna Zarutska. Unfortunately, she was stabbed and died on the 22nd of August, and her story became viral, became known, and President Trump did the video about it and seeking for justice. But now sort of like her tragedy, and my condolences to her family and loved ones. I know how impossibly painful to lose the loved ones, and I can imagine what the hell is for her family. I'm going myself through it, and how it became the political kind of discussion based on the tragedy of Iryna Zarutska. If you missed, I just remind, in Charlotte, North Carolina, United States, she was in the train on the way home, and she was stabbed by the homeless schizophrenic man. And how tragically, and we escaped from one danger. We escaped from the violence and regular Russian attacks in Ukraine, and this is where she found her death in the US. I hope her family will get justice, and there will be all sort of actions taken which the authorities can take and prevent further possible tragedies. By now, Silicon Valley is stepping in after the killing of Ukrainian refugee, and the CEO and founder of Intercom committed $500,000 to commission murals of Zarutska face in major US cities. And Elon Musk offered a million, isn't it? So to do that as well, yeah, he replied on sort of to this offer, contribute $1 million. And Musk also been vocal about Zarutska case, particularly media coverage of the killing and public reaction. So you see how the tragedy becomes the weapon, one political party against another one. And the other tragedy, Charlie Kirk, probably, I'm sure you don't need to me to explain, because it's sort of for 2 days in a row it's discussed, it's on mainstream media, it's on YouTubers, and everyone covering own aspect. And first of all, it's my condolences to the family. I know they're going through hell right now, and especially when with such public coverage, it's probably the personal torture for all who knew Charlie Kirk personally, who loved him, family members. So my endless condolences to you. I hope they will have all support, help they needed to survive through it. However, Mr. Kirk, he was very outspoken about Ukraine. He was against aid to Ukraine. He was saying it was a waste. He was criticizing Zelensky. He was speculating on Zelensky legitimacy, and he called wrongly the east of Ukraine as historical Russian territory, which is absolutely wrong. The other thing, Crimea, he called as well, sort of. He did the same mistake as President Obama. He considered if the region was mentioned as this Russian-speaking region as a Russian territory, it has nothing to do with it, and it just manifests and portrays how poor his historical knowledge and President Obama and Charlie Kirk. And I'm surprised by Charlie Kirk. He was participating in many public discussions that attract lots of attention, lots of coverage. I discovered Charlie Kirk after his discussion in Cambridge. My daughter, 12-year-old daughter, told me about him. And oh, hello, Kay. Kay, well, hello. Lots of love to Australia. And that's, it was, you know, I enjoyed the debate. If you didn't listen to it, it's quite a long video, Charlie Kirk in Cambridge, especially when it comes to sort of like the last half an hour, the last hours. If you haven't watched, please do. I have my favorites, and that discussion among the representative of Cambridge. There's, if I remember, there's professor and students, and I quite liked, and I recommended my friends when I discovered it. And again, my shock, he was participating with intellectuals, representative or intellectual elite in the UK, and having such poor knowledge and being so wrong. That's what was sort of surprising me. Or maybe that was his sort of angle to sort of like to attract more attention, being so wrong, and shockingly surprised everyone. So I don't know, but he wasn't my favorite. For me, Charlie Kirk is the person who was spreading lots of Russian propaganda, and that's sort of kind of some nonsense. But what can you do? So anyway, tell me what you think. Why do you think he was so popular, not being so knowledgeable and not being so smart? Because, I mean, obviously self-reference might not be the answer, but I am attracted to people who bring some bright ideas, deep knowledges, ability to explain complex things in a sort of in a simple words where you can grasp the things. Charlie Kirk wasn't the one for me, but I couldn't avoid, as a journalist, I couldn't avoid his content, and to a certain extent I acknowledge his existence, but it's not something would inspire me or attract me while I'm looking for some intellectual stimulation. So from intellectual point of view, very disappointing, surprised that he was so popular, but my millions of people found something interesting. Let me know what you think. And I would like to add a few words about the Ukrainian tragedy in general, because I mentioned Iryna Zarutska and her tragic death. You know, if you follow my work on this podcast, if you follow the interviews I published before, are you aware there's a lot of I was mentioning it before, that Ukrainian tragedy, particularly such topic as kidnapped Ukrainian children, which is happening regularly all the time. Russia takes Ukrainian teenagers, kids, and send them all over Russia, changing their names, their history, and sort of adding them to the Russian database as the Russian orphans. And this is sort of like the main problem, because for Ukraine to return or request or prepare the return of a child or making the list, you need to confirm identity. Someone needs to report it, and you need to have legitimate sort of sack of documents or folder of documents. And when the names changed, when the sort of this identity changed, you can't really find. And there's dozens of thousands of children all over Russia. So that's the problem, and that's the big tragedy. And children become Russian weapon against Ukraine, because these children are not just taken care and given love if they orphans. First of all, they are stolen from their country. Second thing, they sent to the camps where they prepared as a future soldiers, those who trained to build or dig the trenches. So basically, it's all prepared by Russia for the future battlefield as a cannon foders. That's what happens with Russia. And when on my interview Save Ukraine, and you can find it's one of the earliest at the beginning, 2024, with Mykola Kuleba, and you can see sort of this is the subject which can unite different people from sort of different countries, different political agenda, even religious, and who would be able or willing to support Ukraine. And that's but it's also it's actually behind the scenes, it's also becoming a powerful self-promotion for those who are getting on the subject. I know some countries who are willing to help Ukraine with returning children. They insist on one particular condition: it should be exclusive. Sort of certain country is in charge of returning Ukrainian children. Maybe by now, but as far as I know, there was several months ago, it was sort of this promotion or self-promotion ground couldn't be shared with someone else. So as you understand, Ukrainian interest or children interest is not really on the list priorities. First of all, those who can help or influence the situation, they see what they can gain out of it. That's the reality. And what do you think? How fair it is, and what Ukraine should do? Should they agree? And the situation is very complex. It's not like organized group of children. You know the names of these children, the location, and the conditions that you can actually organize or start conversations of returning like it is with the civilians in Russian captivity, or soldiers which at the moment in Russian captivity. And the list and confirmation, your name on the list, is important, and the entry part of the exchange of prisoners. So please let me know what you think about the exchange of children, and as the possible self-promotion ground for the politicians who used to be in power, not anymore, but still have huge ambitions and would like to join this narrative and would like to make their mark on the global scene. Because you understand, if you're saving children, it's basically golden ticket anywhere, and you becoming relevant, you becoming one of those who against everything horrible for everything good, especially if you sort of on the pictures and you can manifest that I saved this 20 or 50 children or 1,000 children to Ukraine, and now they are back into safety with their family members or those who know them and can support and help children. So let me know your thoughts, because I find it as a human, as a mother, I find it devastating. And as a content creator, I'll tell you this, that as soon as I release any video on children, it actually has the least of views. Everyone agrees that this is wrong, the children shouldn't suffer, but it's not what sort of people would click and watch. Why? Because it's less juicy than speculation on corruption, or why? I don't know. Please let me know. I am confused, and I would like to hear your thoughts and your ideas. And I know many of you are very much deep into subject and following news of Ukraine, and I'm sure you have your own opinion. Happy to see and happy to read about it. If you're not watching it during live and afterwards, I'm very intrigued and very interested to hear. So Ukrainian ammunition, Ukrainian drones, Ukrainian missiles, artillery, this and that. Do you know, obviously, as many of you, I'm following the news, and I see when there's one item presented or another. But on my personal personally, after in November last year was released the interview with 13, the commander of Group 13, the secret, the people I admire a lot, who destroys these people. They are superstars for me. They destroying the Russian warships in the Black Sea, and they do numerous attacks on those in Crimea, and they basically won. Ukraine doesn't have sea fleet, but Ukraine becomes sort of like terrifying Russia. Now they are hiding. Now they are hiding those warships as far as they can, but it doesn't stop Ukrainian 13 team. So after I released the interview with their commander and his story about how they, because they're using Magura sea drone. It's 5.5 meters long. It's relatively cheap in production, Ukrainian sort of manufacturer. And after that interview, I was contacted by people who introduced themselves as the sea drone manufacturers from Norway. And they were interested to cooperate, to get in touch, and because they're working on a similar project, and obviously they're interested what Ukraine has done and how they can make things better, because Norway, being close to Russia, they understand the danger. And so I passed everything which was contacted. I passed it to the Ukraine's defense intelligence people, so I don't know if there's any developments. You know, as any secret institution or secret service institution, they keep things to themselves, and they're very modest in commenting or giving follow-up of this, and I get it. So anyway, just to remind you, the 40% of the ammunition on the front line in Ukraine is actually Ukrainian manufactured, made in Ukraine, developed in Ukraine, and there's a lot of interest, global interest, to buy this weapon. So the thing is, Ukraine doesn't sell it, and it's not sort of a conflict, but this is kind of like the ground where the government, president, and the enterprises, they can't agree on things. And for example, the manufacturers, some of the companies, they're not fully loaded with the production, and they're happy to make more and to they want to make more, to sell, to make money, but the government position is different. They waiting, and President Zelensky, I think in the BBC interview, he said that we will use this option after the war, just not yet. And I'm sure there are reasons, but we will see. I'm sure later we will find out. So before I explain how sort of they found the government offered options, some of them started working, some of them hasn't, maybe will. So, you know, with the weapon production, the country which is in war right now, it's a lot of sensitive, a lot of secrecy, and a lot of powerful party involved and lots of money. So let's see how the things are developing, because I'm sure it will. This narrative or this interest in Ukrainian media field and circulating a lot, so we will see. And so far, Ukraine produced Magura, the sea drone I mentioned, and its success, the proof of success in the Black Sea, Bogdana, self-propelled gun, Neptune, anti-ship missile, Stugna, anti-tank missile system, and there's a lot of artillery, drones. Ukraine produced various types of drones, including long range and different models, missiles and ATGMs, so electronic warfare systems, and obviously there's lots of shells produced needs for the Ukraine armed forces. And in general, sort of the Ukrainian defense industry produces over 1,000 types of weapons, and it's absolutely fantastic success for Ukrainian enterprises. And you know, this kind of like this industry got back to life, and there's a huge potential and economical, and you know, at the moment during the war, Ukraine can rely partly on themselves. And I personally, I think when Ukraine start being self-sufficient in terms of ammunition production, there will be, this is sort of the strong side of Ukraine, which will stop Russia from progressing or invading in the future. And I'm sure this is the target. Unfortunately, right now, the US has the monopoly on producing some systems. And even if the Europe wanted to supply it to Ukraine independently from the US, they can't. There are systems, I don't want to lie right now, I just don't remember exactly what system we're talking about. Maybe you know more about it. So we'll see. I'm sure this market will evolve and will strengthen Ukraine as the global player on the weapon market, but I'm sure there will be sort of the economic, it will bring money to the country, because lots of ammunition will go for export. So Ukraine, sort of regarding arms experts, there are two key tracks today. The first one, Build with Ukraine initiative, and this is sort of like the initiative that works right now. I'll explain. And the second one is the defense city. It hasn't started working right now, so I don't think makes sense sort of looking into it. But basically, with Build with Ukraine program, which under Ukraine manually selects a partner country, signs an intergovernment between the governments agreement with it, and allows Ukrainian companies selected by the Ministry of Defense. You see how much control there. Ministry of Defense to locate its factory there. So if you hear the certain countries or certain factories or plants will produce weapon for Ukraine, this is sort of the program built with Ukraine. That's what right now happening. What do you think Ukraine should do regarding ammunition, relying on countries, relying on partners, or step by step developing own and being self-sufficient and making it one of the priorities? Because that fact that Ukraine is neighbor with Russia, and personally, I don't think Russia will give up on imperialistic ambitions. And so the danger will be always there. The stronger Ukraine, the more Ukraine prepared for the war, any minute, it will keep Russia away. In terms of Ukrainian army being prepared and how skillful they are, just yesterday I read that some Polish soldiers will come to Ukraine and will learn how to shut down Russian drones, because it was reported that out of 19 Polish army managed to take down 4. So they will come to Ukraine to learn. Some sources told Ukrainian journalists, and I think this is the way to go, isn't it? Ukraine has the skillful army, and now sort of Ukraine doing good, not good enough yet, but doing good with the ammunition production. Yes, Cable, agree with me that you can't rely on other countries, unfortunately. Yes, we see how political situation is changing and the danger in Ukraine. And such aggressor like Putin, he's pushing and he's speculating. And I can see in the comments sort of the... I think it's... spreading Russian narratives. Okay. So I think let me know what you think on the subjects I picked today, and share your thoughts. I know some of you are very knowledgeable and in terms of weapon, and I love reading your long comments on this matter. I'm not an expert, so I'll be grateful to read your comments. Thank you everyone who joined me today on live, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Your like, if you find our conversation or this live was interesting, please hit like button, subscription. It will help a lot. I appreciate it. And let me know other subjects or topics you would like to cover, and I'll keep it in mind and prepare more content for you. If you really like my content, if you really appreciate what I do, please become a member of my channel. It will help a lot to support it and to create content further for you, for all the kinds, and hopefully exciting and interesting. I wish you all an amazing day, good luck in everything you do, and lots of love anywhere you are. Are you in Australia, Canada, US, anywhere in Europe, or maybe Latin America or Africa, anywhere. Lots of love, and thank you very much for supporting and being here. I appreciate it a lot. I'm Jenny Klochko. Thank you for watching.